Good morning, Faith Islanders, or maybe it's afternoon for you. I don't know. I'm losing track of all time on the island because you guys aren't here. All of us, all the characters are missing you, and we can't wait to get back together. But in the meantime, I wanted to send this little video to you from all of us here on Faith Island and just remind you of a few things that we've talked about and we've shared over the last few weeks. I hope you've been able to do some of your lessons with us. So I wanted to remind you, the lesson that we had about Joshua and Caleb, to always speak the word as your memory verse. And that is so important to help you build your faith. Then we talked about the paralyzed man and his 4 friends and how wonderful they were to help him. And we talked about that we need to put action to our faith. And so the memory verse for that was, faith without action is useless. So remember, you always need to put action to your faith. And then last week we got to celebrate the birth of, sorry, not the birth, but the resurrection of Jesus. And Jesus is alive. We're supposed to rejoice over that all the time. And so that memory verse is a little bit bigger. It's in Revelation 1:8. And Jesus said, I was dead, but now I'm alive forever and ever. So remember, every week that you remember those, when you come back in, you will get a special reward. We have something very fun and planned for you when we finally get back together. Now, this week, we are talking about a special person that's one of my favorite in the Bible, and it's all about having faith and patience. And we're looking at Noah. How many of you know what Noah built? Yes, the ark. So I wanted to give you some fun facts before I read you a story about Noah. Did you know that it took Noah almost 120 years to build the ark? 120 years. That's longer than most of us will live. The ark was 4.5 stories high and 1.5 football fields long. That's big, isn't it? When he was building the ark, this is what I think is very interesting. He was over 500 miles away from any water. And the boat was not designed to sail, it floated. So he was building it with all his neighbors and friends were laughing at him. But he was patient and he obeyed God. Now, talk about stay at home. How many of you are kind of tired of staying at home? Oh yeah, I know. Did you know that Noah stayed at home with his family? There were 10 total, so 9 others and Noah. They were stuck in the boat for 40 days and 40 nights with no windows open and all the animals and their smells while it rained. Woo! Then once the rain stopped, it was another 280 days before they finally could leave the boat. So they were quarantined together for over 320 days. Thankfully, we aren't going to have to stay at home that long. That's almost a full year. So I just wanted to let you know that Noah was able to do it for 320 days. We can do it for 2 or 3 months, right? So let me read you the story of Noah. And I want you to enjoy it and listen because there will be questions for you to answer, all right? The flood and the rainbow. So after Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden, they had many children. And their children had children, and so on it went for hundreds of years. There came a time when people on the earth did not know about God. Can you imagine about not knowing about it? But God could see them. He did not like what he saw. The people were selfish and evil. They weren't kind. They fought and did bad things to one another. God was sorry he had even made them. Now he would put an end to all people. So look at them. They're fighting, they're pushing, they're shoving. You would never do that to anybody, would you? Okay, maybe not to your siblings, but surely not to your friends. But God wanted to save Noah because Noah was a good man. God came to Noah and spoke to him. I'm going to flood the earth and destroy every living thing on it. But I want you to build an ark for yourself and your family. Bring into the ark 2 of every animal, the smallest to the largest. Those that fly, those that walk and crawl on the ground. Now, there's a little note here. It says the ark is a large box, a very large box. It's a boat created to float, not to sail. It was huge. So Noah built the ark from wood. He made it large enough to hold all the animals and enough food to feed everyone. When the ark was ready, the animals came 2 by 2. At last, Noah and his wife and his 3 sons and their wives all got onto the ark. The clouds came and the rain started to fall. It rained and rained. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. The earth was flooded and every living thing that was destroyed except those things that were on the ark. The ark was well built and it floated in the water. Inside it was dry and warm. At last it stopped raining and God remembered Noah. He sent a great wind and the water began to recede. That means it went down. After many days, Noah sent out a dove. When the dove flew back the second time, it held a leaf in its beak from an olive tree. Noah knew that the floods were going away. So he waited 7 more days and sent out the dove again. This time, the dove did not come back. Noah knew that the dove had found dry land to live on. Woo-hoo! So he opened the ark and let the animals out. Can you imagine how crazy the animals went? Then God made a promise to Noah. I will never again send a flood to destroy the earth. Life will go on because of you and your family and the animals that you took on the ark. I thank you for being obedient and patient and living a life of faith. So then a rainbow appeared in the sky. Look at the rainbow, God said to Noah. It's a sign of the promise I have made to you. Isn't that beautiful? So remember, be patient using your faith. This is trying times sometimes, and we want to get anxious and aggravated with one another. But when you walk in faith, you need to use your patience and be kind, obedient to the Lord, obedient to your parents, and be thoughtful to one another. So until we can meet again, aloha from Faith Island.